we're here once again to talk about Kingdom. I don't really have any time, so we're gonna do a little bit of a quick fire round. So let's go. So we're talking about round 2, which was episode 4 and 5, I think. So the round was Reborn, as you know. Groups switch songs with different groups and then they made it their own. We can talk about my favorites first and then talk about the other ones and talk about their rankings. So my first favorite of round 2 was the Boyz. And listen, it's always my favorite, so I can't be wrong because it's my favorite. It's my opinion. Anyways, let's talk about why I love the Boyz version of O Sole Mio by SF9. So the theme was the Red Wedding, and I love what they did with it. It was very new for them, the whole Latin pop, but also with the like Moulin Rouge like influence. I thought it was really interesting. The dances that Juyeon did in the cages, the stage layout itself. I would say I like No Air better still, but I love that they did something new with this. I would say the last kind of like chorus part of this, the like ending of this song was so good. Like Chani and Sangyeon, their vocals and the dance and whether it was confetti, I thought it was just so pretty, so amazing. And then when they got the bow and arrows and they shot it, it was so good. It was so good. Something that I love that I picked up on through these last 2 rounds is that rather than kind of being like, look at this storyline, this is our storyline, this is our concept, do you get it? It's very like, they're kind of keeping you in this world that they've created by their performances never really like ending. And what I mean is that like, none of their performances have the like, bam, or the like, dun, and then they're all like standing. Like it's just like, eerie and like you're kind of like left in it after the song ends, and they've done that for every single one of the performances. So go and check it out if you haven't noticed that. I think it's amazing and I'm out of breath and such a subtle way to like keep the audience like engaged and want to know what's coming next, you know? I felt like the Boyz and Stray Kids, like they felt the most different than the other performances, least like macho cool man vibes, which I feel like all the other ones had. Not that that's a bad thing. Love a good macho cool man vibe sometimes, but yeah, I was just saying that it also felt really different for me, and I liked that. My next favorite performance was Stray Kids. They did I'll Be Your Man by btob, and I thought it was just, they just like really, they did super well. Like their performance like as artists, I think that they all did really, really well. Han Ji-sung is so good. He's so good. And like I knew that, but like he's so good. And this was his performance. I didn't fully like grasp the storyline until the second time that I watched it. And I like in general with these, you can kind of see, at least for me, because I do not speak Korean, you can kind of see like if you get what they were going for and what their concept or whatever they're trying to portray in the performance is actually well portrayed, you know, because I can't tell when they're talking about it. So I like being able to see if I could get it. And for Stray Kids, first time, didn't get it. Did not get it. I was like, okay, boy, dark, being dragged, devil, hugging, it's over. I just didn't get it. But then I watched it with the subtitles and the second time and I was like, oh, devil, I'll be your man, sacrifice, that kind of stuff. And I realized in general I really like Stray Kids performances the second time I watched them, which is funny. Next, my last favorite, so like my number 3 I guess you could say, was Ikon. They did ateez's Inception, and I kind of really loved the way that they changed it. They totally added a new like chorus hook part, and it just worked really well. It felt very Ikon. I love that they went with the actual movie Inception, and used the like spinning top and the dreaming kind of effects with their stage. I feel like the stage did feel like a lot like, am I watching a musical right now? But I still liked it. So it was still one of my favorites. So good for them. So yeah, I would say those 3 were my favorites. And then to talk about the other 3, we could start with SF9. They did a version of the Boyz Stealer, and they made it really fun with like guns and knives and stuff. Very like an action movie. And you could definitely tell that they had a higher budget because they had like flamethrowers and stuff. So that was fun. I kind of felt like I was inside of the Spider-Man ride at Universal. I liked it more after the dance break, like kind of the second half of the performance I think I liked more. Yeah, and they ranked 2nd overall, which is so exciting considering they were at the bottom last week, so good for them. Next, we'll talk about btob. They did Backdoor, which I feel like was such a good choice, and the way that they did it was very like backstage, and then you like went out to the crowd and the crowd was like on stage. I thought it was really fun and entertaining, and I thought it was a great choice. I will say I think that like Stray Kids doing I'll Be Your Man and btob doing Backdoor, I felt like that was the best kind of like pair switching. I felt like they both chose good songs that like challenged them but like were exciting and they made them their own, so I liked it. And then finally we'll talk about ateez. They did Rhythm Talk by Ikon, and I think this one was kind of my least favorite. I don't know if it makes sense, but it felt like too chaotic, like as a viewer. And I get that that's what they were going for, but yeah. And it was inspired by Money Heist, which is fun because I'm currently watching that show. I'm on the 2nd season. Thanks for asking. I felt like the song Rhythm Talk wasn't really like improved upon, but yeah, they ranked super well. I think they got 1st for both. Again, I could be wrong, but I know that they ranked super well, and they're number 1 in kind of the midway with the self and expert evaluations. I love how I could just be like, picture a revolution inspiring people to dance, and you wouldn't know if I was talking about ateez's Rhythm Talk performance or Footloose. Those are my kind of quick thoughts on the performance. I will say the rankings. Am I ever gonna like the rankings? No. Now this is just the section of the video where I rant about the voting system. So I figured it out. I don't know if this is common knowledge already, but pretty much the experts and the groups, they vote the same way that fans vote on Who's Fan. So they say, these were my top 3, and everyone else I hated, 0 points. And I think that they should have had everyone rank everything. I think that every single member, or at least 4 members of each group, should have voted. I think that the experts should rank 1 to 6, and then those should be like weighted, like if I liked you the most, you get the most points, whatever. Also, this is like a math rant. Also, the entire round is worth the points that they show on screen. So it's not just each group can get up to 20,000 points this round. It's that there are 20,000 points for the taking for this round, and you just want to get the most. That's dumb. The fact that the experts and the self and the kind of groups are voting based off of this, pick your top 3, and I don't know which one you like the most, and you hated everyone else. Like, that's not true. Because if you're like me and you're like, well, like there's not really that much of a difference for the ways that I feel about 4th and 5th, or 2nd and 3rd, or whatever, 6th and 5th, but I should be able to convey those feelings, you know? So that's really annoying. Even if they did not allow them to fully rank 1 through 6, you should allow them to rank your top 3 and say, I like this one the most. It's just so dumb, and it's just adding to the reasons why this show is just not doing it for me. But that's the end of this video. We're halfway through the show. We're making it through. Next week is Disney Channel Games Isaac round. So I think that should be fun, and it will just be a break from the chaos. Overall, this show is giving us a lot of cool performances, a lot of new ways to be upset at mnet, and yeah, I would say that fan wars aren't too bad. I would say that. Maybe I'm wrong, but in general, I've seen worse. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, tell me about your experience. Whose performance did you like the best? What do you think of the show overall? Who do you think should be first? Is it ateez? Is it someone else? All that stuff. Leave it down below. That's everything for this video. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you feel like it. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.